And the award for Best Actor goes to the entire cast of The Devil All the Time. Bobo here from BrassReel Brothers. Great to see you guys again. Thanks for clicking on this video. So I just watched the movie The Devil All the Time, starring Tom Holland, William Skarsgård, Sebastian Stan, Robert Pattinson, Mia Wasikowska. This was a great movie, guys. It's been a while since I've seen a good movie come out like this. It was juicy, well acted, awesome story, really reels you into the characters. It's a respectable story that you can watch again, or 20 years down the road, it's something that'll be regarded like, damn, this is a really good piece of work. It's based off of a novel of the same title, written by a guy named Donald Ray Pollock, who also narrates the movie. This movie's narrated the entire time. But it's not overdone in the sense to where you're constantly hearing narration. It actually is implemented right at the perfect time for you to be like, oh, this is cool. I like the storyteller coming back in for a second. But this will be a spoiler-free review. I just want to tell you guys what I think about it, my first thoughts. I just watched it late last night, and I just did this morning when I woke up. But man, this was extremely well done. I found myself completely enthralled into the story, the characters, what was going to happen next. It's just this juicy southern tale of corruption and a bad church and some deep-rooted family issues and connections. Basically, there's these three storylines that you're following pretty well too. It's not even like you don't know what's going on. And there is a real main storyline that you're following and two other side ones, but they all three connect somehow. And that's not spoiling anything for you. You're expecting that and waiting for that to happen when you're watching this movie. You're kind of getting to that point of like, all right, when is this all going to start to ravel in together? But it's really well done. I mean, for a 2 hour and 15 minute long movie, they definitely get you into the characters and you don't ever feel like the movie's dragging. While it is a slow burn type of a movie, it's a slow burn movie that's very engaging because the acting's so good by everybody. I mean, Tom Holland, Bill Skarsgård, man, that guy is excellent in this. Everybody's great in it, but he is phenomenal. The only complaint I have is very minor. It's with Robert Pattinson, and it's just for a couple of accent choices he goes with at certain moments. But as far as his acting, it's great, and you believe his character. There's just one or two moments where it's like, I don't know about that accent. But that does not take away from the movie at all. I thought everything about this was AAA, top tier. Definitely the best quality of a film that's been put out by Netflix since The Irishman. I liked it way better than The Irishman. I thought it was just all around a better film. I thought it was way better paced. It wasn't too long. I wasn't distracted by de-aging the entire film. Say what you will about The Irishman. A lot of people love it out there. You can hate on me all you want for it. I just thought that Martin Scorsese, those three guys, could have been a little better. I mean, you still got Goodfellas, Casino to match up to, and he's done a lot of good movies since then. Gangs in New York, The Aviator. Anyways, I'm losing focus again. But acting across the board, excellent. The directing was really good. The score's really good. It kind of reminds me of like a Lonesome Dove meets Heat meets Deliverance. I might be going a little overboard with the Deliverance thing, but there is a hillbilly vibe to it because they're in West Virginia. But the way you get to know all the characters and the deep-rooted history between all the characters, which is really, really enthralling. Like you find yourself really getting into these characters. That aspect is sort of a Lonesome Dove vibe because Lonesome Dove takes its time getting to know the characters. But like I said, this movie's only 2 hours and 15 minutes long, so you really get to know the characters and a lot happens in the movie. It's really, look, very well done. I thought it was great. Really good job at setting up the characters. Takes place in this place called Knock'em Stiff. I think that's awesome, and I think it is a real place, but I love the name of that town. And it's not used in a comedic way either, like it's just the name of this town, and it takes place in this small town. There's definitely lots of religious, creepy stuff going on. I tell you what, this will make you look at that religious-fueled small town life a little bit differently, especially a lot of those preachers you see that have been on TV or sort of the rap that some of those guys get. Kind of just shows you with any profession, no matter whether it's politics, doctor, cops, preacher, you're gonna have that left and right, corrupt or not corrupt, do the right thing, do the wrong thing. You're gonna have that in any profession, in every walk of life, in every type of person. I think at its core, this movie is just really trying to show you what pain and torment and religion and war can really do to a man, you know, like what someone's beliefs, how far their beliefs can take them. And like I said, they paint a really creepy picture of some of this religious stuff in there, and it kind of shows you how people can get off. They lose their way with religious stuff because they start listening to God. And it really shows you what can happen if a man is not thinking for himself enough, if he's relying too much on this blind faith. It shows you how dangerous that can be. And I tell you what, Pattinson, even though I said something about his accent, it was just one or two minor little moments that I could just be like, eh. As a character in this movie though, he's mesmerizing. When you see him, like when you listen to people, you can keep your eyes closed when you're watching this movie and you would not be able to recognize who the actors are at all, because everybody does such a good job at their accents and just an acting job in general. But Robert Pattinson does this cool thing with his voice where it's really higher pitched. And like I said, if you had your eyes shut, there's no way you could tell it was Robert Pattinson. Half the time you can't tell if it's Robert Pattinson talking anyways. He's kind of strange sometimes. But everybody's mesmerizing in this movie. Tom Holland's fantastic. Like I said, Bill Skarsgård, he was the one that stood out to me the most. And honestly, you don't get a movie like this unless you get the Quentin Tarantino films or the Scorsese films. I mean, this is up there, in my opinion, as far as the quality, the content, where it takes you by the end, the way you feel when you're done watching the movie. I think I figured out the three movies that this, like the three movies combined that this kind of reminds me of. It's kind of like Lonesome Dove meets Heat meets No Country for Old Men. But they do some really cool stuff filmmaking wise in this as well. There's this one scene where they're showing these clips of murders through negatives of film, through like negatives of photos. That's not giving anything away. This is just something that you see in the movie. And it was just cleverly done. I thought that was really cool. And it's actually more effective seeing it that way than if you were to be seeing it just the regular pictures. I think so. And also opening up in the very beginning, they do a cool little thing with the opening credits, and I don't mean like filming, as far as actually displaying the title of the film. It's just a cool little thing I've never seen done before, and I thought it was very effective. But overall, this movie's heavy, man. It's got a lot of violence in it. Not all throughout, but when the violence is there, it's like, ooh. It takes you back to the time of the 50s. It makes you feel like you're in it. And the way they do tie these storylines, all three of these storylines together, it is pretty clever by the end. There are moments while you're watching it, you're kind of like, all right, why am I seeing this? But it all does come full circle. And it's good too. It actually works. And you get to see another side of all these actors that you've never seen before, or that you're not used to seeing. Like I said, Tom Holland, all I've really ever seen him do is Peter Parker. And to see him in this role, excellent. He's got a huge career ahead of him. You do not see Peter Parker 1 second in this movie. You see the character he's playing. Russell, I think is his name. Overall, this movie, AAA, top tier. Honestly, the worst I could say about it was that one little thing about Pattinson's accent, and that's just in one scene. But his acting's still fantastic. Everybody's fantastic in it. So overall, it's just this juicy Southern West Virginian tale of corruption, greed, religious ickiness, murder, family roots, loyalty to family, all a lot of just really compelling and juicy stuff. I give this movie a complete A+. And I think it's definitely got Oscar buzz on it somehow. Maybe Best Picture, maybe Best Director, Best Screenplay. I think for sure in the acting category. I'd be surprised if there wasn't at least some nominations. So The Devil All the Time, some chef's popcorn right there. Good job, Netflix. And Antonio Campos. Well guys, thanks so much for tuning back in and watching this video. Love y'all so much. Look for BrassReel Brothers on Facebook. Look for Bobby Williams on Facebook. You can find me on Twitter, BrassReel Bobby at BrassReel. Don't forget to always click that subscribe button right there and the like button and tell all your friends about it. And remember, life gives you lemons, make some hot, fresh poppycorns.
You got time for a sinner?